of office and all of that stuff. I got a rude letter back in the spring. Don't ask us yet.
Yeah, and Muckrock, they're doing classes on your Freedom of Information Act and different ways to do it. And the what I've learned is the county clerk has their bond information. But do they have to give it to people that ask for it? I don't know. That it's probably something in the statute.
For FOIA requests.
Right. Yeah, Muckrock has a really good format. I just sent a FOIA to the disclosure office of the IRS. I just got my green card back, but I haven't got a response yet. I didn't even know they even had a disclosure office. Crazy.
A little late.
Ralph, it's Paul on Volusia.
Hey, look,
Unmuted.
Yes, I had one more question.
I have a question too.
Talking about everyone.
Go ahead.
Hello, Ralph?
hey, go ahead, Annette.
You know, kind of believing that everybody was getting pink slips, and not everybody, but there was large amounts of people getting pink slips in the federal.
Muted.
And what would we say about?
Yeah, I don't know of any of them that got their pink slip unless they got charged with something and lost their job. But something to do some research on.
Good idea.
Thanks, Annette. Paul, go ahead.
Yes, Ralph, I was wondering if in your coordinators meetings, if there's been any indication of the courts that are up, if any of them are starting to hear active cases yet.
Some have heard some cases, CPS cases, but I don't know where they are on that. But they're practicing in the states that have their courts up. They only have like 15 people in the whole assembly. It's like, okay, y'all doing double duty here, or how are you operating that? But some states are making progress. But well, I've had South Carolina and Tennessee. They want to work with us and work on mock trials, try to develop some type of strategy. So haven't done anything with those states yet, but as we move forward, I think we're way ahead of a lot of states on just our procedures, the way we're doing things. As we know, Arkansas, they had to backpedal and redo everything they did.
Unmuted.
I have a question, Ralph. Can you hear me?
Yes.
All right. It's a pleasure. I'm going through a situation right now where I'm dealing with the courts myself based off some kind of ordinance that I'm having to operate from the land and soil jurisdiction in a pro se capacity, that I'm developing a case. And from what I hear is everyone is dealing on some common level, some kind of barrier. We're dealing with barriers between the de facto and the de jure. Do you have any idea or case law that you can point out that can remedy us as nationals?
Yeah, it's called the Ex parte Milligan and the Reconstruction Act. And when our courts, our states functioning, they're staying down. That's why we're working on it.
Is there anything that we can do to, because I have a lot of research that I've done, at least as far as common law remedies, there's like a Comedy of Nations.
Excuse me.
Yes.
Who's actually speaking? We don't know who's on the floor.
This is the living man, Seneca, Lee Siebert, Seneca Siebert.
Okay.
Yep.
Seneca.
Yep, Seneca. Also known as the Electric Shaman. So.
What's your given name?
Yeah, my Christian name is Seneca. My surname is Siebert.
Got it.
Yep.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Unusual.
Yep. Native American, American Indian. Yep. So, so the ex parte, as we move forward from the land and soil jurisdiction, there's a couple of things that I have been working with, and I will let the group know and the assembly know my progress in this, and the remedies that may have worked. I will definitely share those remedies. So essentially, once we get our ex parte courts up and running, then we will then be in charge with the common law, and they will have to stand down or at least recognize the authority of the people.
Right. Yeah, that's our greatest challenge in a lot of these trespasses they do is being recognized as who we are. And we're not the first people that are doing this. They were called footers and mountaineers and all kind of different groups that just lived off of their unalienable rights and natural law. So, and it depends. Some cases, some people win, and others, they try to do the same thing and they lose. So it's just a matter of that's why these lawyers, when they're helping people out, they pick a judge.
I let them know right away that I'm coming from the land and soil jurisdiction, and that any interaction with the lawyer will render jurisdiction over to the court, and that I'm presenting myself. I do point out their codes in the hypocrisy or the contradictions within their codes, and then we'll utilize one would be like a reservation of rights. You can find that under Florida Statute 671.207. You can invoke the common law under Florida Statute 2.01. And then the courts, I have an appeal coming up because, well, if it wasn't for Cynthia, I would have not heard about this other case where administrative courts don't really have a right to dictate certain verdicts or come up with verdicts outside the jurisdiction of, constitutionality or dealing with specific things within administrative courts and dealing with what we're dealing with. One, I challenged the constitutionality of the ordinance. They did not want to recognize the Florida Constitution and the right to work, and I looked up the definition of life, and life incorporates quite a bit within just the word, because in the due process of law, it's all about protecting life, liberty, and your property rights. But life is protected by the federal Constitution, includes all personal rights and their enjoyment of faculties, acquiring useful knowledge, the right to marry, establish a home and bring up children, freedom of worship, conscience. And my argument is contract, that I'm a living man and that I do not contract with the state nor the city or any municipal organization, as well as occupation. They're trying to say that I needed a permit to be able to distribute or to trade, to operate with free trade. I did invoke the Jay Treaty of 1794, which was established in around 1794 about private commerce as well as navigation. So I'm still building up my affidavit and stuff, and if you read Florida Constitution Article 3, Section 6, it talks about what laws really are and that they don't really fall within the lines. At the city, I asked them today if they, had ran by these ordinances or these codes by any legislation whatsoever, and they said no. So they're unconstitutional. And we have a right to work, and we have other unalienable rights that fall within, even the First Amendment says the enunciation of certain rights shall not be construed to deny or disparage others, meaning rights, retained by the people. So I'm definitely proud to be a part of this, assembly here moving forward. We're on the right side of history, I'll definitely say. And I'm hoping that I can have a win and then a case law that we can all reference back to, and I'll share everything that I used in my argument. But I'm going to yield, and God bless you guys. Thank you.
Hey, thank you, Seneca.
Muted.
Done a lot of research on that.
Yeah.
And, that's part of that. That's getting our recognition as who we are. And that is a huge challenge.
Yeah.
Julian, you
Hi
got
there.
your hand up?
Thank you. Yes, this is Julianne on St. Lucie County. Yes, I just wanted to add on a little something about that. We had actually, Serene and I, as you know, Serene is going through a case right now. We had a lot of assembly members assist us with some paperwork to submit. We went ahead and added everything to the case. And basically, we got no response for months and months. Every time Serene would go to the courtroom, the judge would just sit there and nod her head. Yes, I understand. I highly advise you hire an attorney. I just advise you hire an attorney. Yes, I understand. Yes, you're right. Yes, you're right. He would sit there and almost condescendingly, shake her head that Serene's right, but then say you need to hire an attorney. She did say that you can go ahead and submit anything you want to a case. It doesn't matter if you're saying that they're dead wrong or not. They will not read it unless you, in this county anyway, St. Lucie, they're pretty militant here. But she said if you don't submit a motion for a hearing, they won't even look at what you put into the case, first of all. And then in order to do a motion, you need to have a license to practice law. Otherwise, you're practicing law without a license by submitting a motion. From what we understand, I don't know, but they don't.
Unmuted.
And if you don't show up for the court case after you submit the paperwork, then they'll go ahead and as you said, Ralph, they'll go ahead and put a warrant out for your arrest and go ahead and fight your way out from the basement of the jail. It's just really horrendous how it is, and it just does let you know that some counties will go ahead and let you in, and some counties don't even care what you have to say. But that's where we're at. So yes, we are holding our breath here until all 4 pillars are built,
if you
and we
have a
can
pen
go ahead
handy,
and execute ex parte Milligan.
if you have
I'm sorry?
if you have a pen handy, I have 1, 2, 3, 4 case law that you do not need a license to practice, that you have a right to practice. If you want, I can state these out to you real quick. If you have a pen handy.
Well, if you like, what we could do, I'll go ahead. What are they?
Okay, 1.
Yeah, I don't want to get into all that right now. Because,
Yeah, I was just going to say, we're on the meeting right now. I can go ahead and just give you my email if you'd be kind enough to email them.
That would be great. No problem.
We could go ahead and, do that.
Absolutely.
All right, it's Julianne Wigard.
Thank you, Joel.
JulianneWigard@gmail. All right.
Yep.
Well, you go ahead and use that. I just don't want to take up the time, with the meeting here tonight, but
I got you.
I do want to just add into the conversation how
once I heard
some
that,
counties, they care about what you have to say and some
Once
don't.
I
But
heard it.
I yield. Thank you very much.
Once I heard it, I wanted to help you.
Yeah.
I yield.
Go ahead. I'm listening.
Muted.
Yeah, it's kind of like incorporated entities. They can't hear living people. And that's what you're dealing with. They need somebody else that'll represent you as an incorporated entity. And that's right there in their rule book and stuff. Municipalities, territorial, they're incorporated, yada, yada, yada. So that's why we have such a hard time. They just don't know how to deal with living people. Till we get our recognition, there's still just that one answer, and that's what we're doing. We've made a huge amount of progress just in this year. with the elections and stuff.
Leon?
Hey, does Diaz, do you have your hand up from before or a new hand?
Are you referring
Okay.
to me? Sorry.
Yeah, I saw your hand raised.
Oh,
I was
yes.
kind of scrolling through.
My name is Des. I'm from Seminole County. I'm also similarly going through the court case pro se. I am compiling a list of different case laws as well as statutes as well as motions to ask the judge to clarify their jurisdiction because they should be acting in their ministerial jurisdiction. And if they're not, then you're not obligated to, comply with what it is they're saying because they're not acting in according to your favorability regarding your rights. So I'm compiling a list of all of these different cases. So if you guys want to share any cases with me, I'll put it all together in a PDF and then share it by our next meeting or like within a week. So if the previous gentleman who is speaking wants to share any of those cases, I put my email already in the chat and I'll share that with everyone so they'll be able to defend themselves, and stand on your own 2 feet.
Wow. Come on, dude. I got the wrong friend at the wrong time. Oh my gosh. It's okay. It's okay. We're getting back in there. We're getting back in. Damn, somebody called me and it messed up. There we go. Here we go. All right. Yes. Yes. Okay.
Welcome to My One Number. The recording has started. Muted.
It has to do with you remaining in honor. You should always remain in honor, but in their system, you'd have to respond within 72 hours to something like a traffic ticket or whatever, but you can always use the term nunc pro tunc, which means then is now, and you can go back to wherever the problem is initiated. My train of thought lends itself to two things. I don't personally like the definition of pro se versus sui juris. Pro se means in your proper personam or person, and sui juris means you're coming in your full capacity and with all rights intact. Now, with regards to dealing with them, in order to remain in honor, I believe that what you should be doing at the moment, until we do get our common law courts up and running, is conditional acceptance. Sure, I'll accept this if you provide a verifiable claim. Sure, I will, accept this if you provide me with a verifiable claimant, somebody that is willing to take the stand under penalty of perjury and full liability. And the major flaw, and it only takes one to destroy a case, is that they're coming in with a fiction as the plaintiff. If in most cases, you're either dealing with a county or the county has, whatever county you're in and their incorporated version as the plaintiff, but more often than not, we're dealing with the state of Florida. You show me a man or woman named State of Florida that can take the stand under penalty of perjury, and that has a verifiable claim against you. So in that one act of doing that, they are violating your core private rights, Axon versus FTC, and on top of that, they are also doing a due process violation by your Sixth Amendment protected right, not given to you by the Constitution. Everybody needs to have that reiterated. The Constitutions don't give you rights. Your rights are protected by those contracts that form the government. But in violating that, that's a due process violation, and they just lost subject matter jurisdiction. So anything, when you point that out to them, that they do in those courts beyond that is void, and they're doing it in their private capacity. The only problem is you have to be willing to go after them with a claim against wrongdoers in a higher level court. Now, having done research on this, on other things like habeas corpus, and my discussions with Giles and Anna and her thoughts on the matter, that seems to be at the moment, and everything is about how you word things, is the District Court of the United States as opposed to the United States District Court, the former being where you get your de jure action, the latter being the de facto color of law. That has yet to be proven out, but I call this legal chicken, where they're coming after you and they won't stop, no matter how many times you point out due process violations, core private violations, etc., and that among other things, what you're doing, if you do this properly, you're setting up an appeal from these kangaroo courts. So you can go to the appellate court and appeal, but in the meantime, and again, this is theory because nobody I know yet has done this, is to go after them with a claim.
That's beyond the scope of our General Assembly meeting. You can handle that, do that discussion in litigation.
All right. I yield.
Hey, I thank you. Yeah, that's a lot of research. You've done a lot of research, and a lot of people have. And that's why the litigation committee is so important, to try and find something in a procedure. We know what needs done, but it's the how part. We need our process and procedure, and that's what the litigation's been working on. And that constitutional questions, that seemed to be pretty powerful. But if I do what I'm about ready to do, am I going to get a result that I don't want? If I'm going to go out there and drive my automobile without a license, I just might get a result I don't want and don't have time to deal with. Or extra change in my billfold to hand out to them. But, yeah, right now we're just keeping our low profile. We're moving forward, getting our courts up and running, getting organized, bring our state forward. And look at all those, Anna's got a lot of articles about what to do in court, how to use your paperwork, all kinds, just whatever. Look up, just search Anna Von Wright, look up traffic tickets. Look up any subject and search Anna Von Wright. And you'll, like the foreclosure. There's 154 articles on foreclosure. So, yeah, we're all up against a mammoth monster that's just out there pillaging us, eating out our substance, and they designed us that way. But we're growing.
Hey, Ralph, this is Mathiel from Orange.
Hey, Mathiel.
I just wanted to backtrack and ask about the seals. Do we have to vote for the seals, the ones in the in each county assembly?
For the seals, no, you don't have to. A lot of times, the committee brings it forward. But if you have enough people, yeah, that's a really good idea for everybody to be in agreement on that. When we first started, we needed a seal, and there wasn't hardly any. We had like 5 or 6 people in the whole Florida Assembly, and we needed a seal. And man, what a painstaking process that was. Not being enclosed and the proper, what do we call ourselves, and what do you put on a seal? What does seal look like? And our stars are 67 stars around it, and which represents 67 counties. So, yeah, that's a good idea to have a committee on the county and develop a seal. And go to Search Anavon Rights, look up seals, find everything you can about seals. And I'm working on a seal and logo policy and procedure. That's like the star, the sheriff's badges. The star, that was witchcraft. People were afraid of that star way back in real old days. That's why they started using it. Like, my goodness. And you start researching things from cause and effect.
Ralph, may I? It's Virginia on Osceola.
Hey, Virginia, go ahead.
Hi, everybody. I just want to clarify. I mean, everyone has to, I guess, I hope you understand that the rationale for us being able to distinguish ourselves from what exists right now is because of their finagling of our actual original names that our forefathers gave. So, and changing of names is like their classic, it's their classic motto. It's their mode of operation, right? Jerusalem became Palestine became Israel. That's one of them, plus names in the Bible. Abram became Abraham, and Sarah became Sarah. It's their classic little motto. So that's the importance for us to be able to distinguish us, truth in reality, and as truth, it doesn't change. With them, they change to hide the cheese and pretend that they aren't what they are, which is what they've shown us to be. So that's the importance of all this symbology that we have to put out there in our logos and such. I yield.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, even here in the United States, or the Union of States, the name changing they did, a lot of even the geographical and topographical structures of the whole 50 states of the Union was changed. We used to have the Red Sea going up through California, and it was almost like an island. And then now they're saying Egypt was in the Grand Canyon based on that one cave. They found all the Egyptian stuff. But yeah, our history's been so messed up that we let those dead bury the dead. We're moving forward with, we have a really good idea of what our founders and what our actual birthright inheritance is. And that's what we stand on. Stand on truth, honor, stewarding, and unity. Because when the truth is present, all that darkness disappears. They know the truth, the light.
Question.
Hey, go ahead.
In regards to surety bonds, you said that the clerk of courts usually holds it or knows the bond number. What are there surety bonds only on the judges, or is it also for police officers as well?
Sheriff, police officers. All of them.
All of them. Okay, thank you.
Look, I think it is 3, well, if you want to look at their rules, 352 Florida statute, 354 about bonds. So, but that's their stuff. We want our lawful remedy. I require the restoration of my property. When you say you can own me, show me that evidence. Show me the evidence that I'm a U.S. citizen. Show me. And they're supposed to prove it. Who knows?
This is Marcel on Orange.
Yeah, go ahead.
You mentioned about having a sheriff's package. Will you be sharing that with the coordinators or emailing that in the near future?
Yeah.
I'm not sure if you mentioned. Yes.
Yes. I'd go ahead and send the whole zip file. And then we could, organizers, that may be something, develop a committee out of the organizers. The organizers find people on their county and look through that sheriff strategy.
Thank you, Ralph. Thank you.
Yeah. I know. We've learned so much more since then. That was like probably 3 years ago. Well, and the thick red line, that's on Tass's. Rich, he did a presentation way back. He did the thick red line, which was a really nice setup. They had the business cards and some type of a notebook, little booklet, really, to provide the sheriff. And that's one thing, that was one aspect of it, to give the sheriff a resource manual with the information about what American state nationals are and how they're discriminating against nationality. A resource for him to look at. But he won't act on it, but it's good to train him. He can't act on it. It's firing. City council firing. It's like all these other agencies. They can't step out of line. And we know who's running them. We did that one, who's running our government. So we know the names and all that, foundations and corporations and stuff. It's going to be time for Anna trading in a minute. Ask Anna. Hey, go ahead.
I was just going to make a motion to adjourn.
Okay, got a motion to adjourn from St. Lucie Julian. Got a second?
Robert on Pasco, I second.
Robert on Pasco, second. So, got a motion on the floor to adjourn until July 25th, 2024. All in favor, say yay.
Yay.
Yay. Yay.
Unmuted.
Yay.
Muted.
Yay. All right, I'm going to stop the recording and adjourn until